Okay, so we're moving on to 3.3 today about the distributive property, and maybe you know a little bit about it already, and maybe you've never done it with variables, okay? So we're still focusing on simplifying expressions, so that's our I can statement. I can simplify expressions. By distributing. Okay. So think about what it means to distribute. If I had cookies and I distributed them between the class, that means I'm giving them to everybody in the class, right? I'm sharing them. So distribution is basically just like fancy multiplication where you're sharing it with each term, okay? So a couple different things we can do is, remember, with our order of operations, we do what's inside of the parentheses first. Let me make sure I'm doing the right one on the correct side. Give me a moment. Doop, doop, doop. Okay, yeah. So do what's inside of the parentheses first. So we're going to do 5 times, and then 4 plus 3 is 7. So I replace what's inside of the parentheses. First, 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, so now I'm going to do 5 times 7, which is 35. Another way to do it is to multiply first and then add. So I'm going to do 5 times 4 plus 5 times 3. So 5 times 4 is 20 plus 5 times 3 is 15. 20 plus 15 is 35. Okay, so this one is the distributive property, which allows us to multiply things and comes in really handy when you can't multiply something. Like I don't know what m minus 3 is right now, okay? So the distributive property lets you multiply a sum by multiplying each addend, so each thing inside of the parentheses, separately. And then you add the products or the answers together. I'm going to say products. So if you can't combine what's inside of the parentheses, you just, before multiplying, can't combine them, what's inside and then multiply, you just go ahead and multiply. We still have to simplify it somehow, okay? So like here, I don't know what 2x plus 7 is, right? X is an unknown. I can't simplify that. So I'm going to do 5 times 2x and 5 times positive 7. Okay. So 5 times 2x, you can just take 5 times 2, which is 10, and then add the x on the end. So 10x, and 5 times 7 is 35. Okay. Since this is a positive, we can do a plus. So 10x plus 35. So for distributive property, okay. So here, 6 times, then in parentheses, is we say it 6 times the quantity, m minus 3, Okay. So remember that if there's no number in front of my variable, that number is a 1. Okay. So I'm going to do 6 times 1m, and then 6 times negative 3. That minus belongs with the 3. Okay. So another reason why this works, this is 6 times 1 times m, right? Because the coefficient, that 1, is the number multiplying my variable. So this means 1 times m. I could do it this way. 6 times 1 is 6. And 6 times m is 6m. Okay, that's kind of how it works. Okay. So 6 times 1m is 6m. And 6 times negative 3. Using our handy dandy calculator. 6 times, I put in parentheses, negative 3. Close the parentheses. It's negative 18. And then I put the 2 together to get my final answer of 6m minus 18. So I'm multiplying each thing separately. So 6 times m, then 6 times negative 3. Scooch this down. So it works with a negative on the outside as well. And really fractions and decimals, but we're not going to go over those right now. Okay. So I'm going to take my negative 7 on the outside times 2y. This minus belongs to the 4. So I'm going to do negative 7 times negative 4. So to multiply negative 7 times 2y, we're going to do negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. And then we're going to do negative 7 times negative 4. So negative 7 times negative 4 is positive 28. So the positive 28. I forgot my y. It says a y on it. Okay? So my final answer is negative 14y plus 28. So remember that we can kind of use the plus and the positive interchangeably. Okay. So the variable doesn't always have to be first. So I'm going to take 6 times negative 8. That minus belongs with the 8. Then 6 times positive 5k. Positive 5k. So 6 times negative 8. Oops. Let me change that to a negative. It's negative 48. And 6 times 5k, I'm going to do 6 times 5 is 30, so 30k. And that's a positive, so I can add it. So our final answer is negative 48 plus 30k. All right, 2 more. So sometimes we have to distribute and then combine like terms. So right now I can't do 2w plus 13w, right? Because it's one of them's in parentheses, kind of separated from the other. So I have to distribute first. Okay. So I'm going to take negative 9 times 2w. Then this plus goes with the 4. Negative 9 times 4. And I'm still going to have plus 13w at the end. Okay. So negative 9 times 2w. Negative 9 times 2 is negative 18. So negative 18w. Then negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. So minus 36. And then plus 13w. So I'm done distributing. So now I can combine like terms. Minus 18w and plus 13w are like terms. So I'm going to group those together. And then minus 36 still has to be included, but it's not a like term. So to combine these, I'm going to add their coefficients of like terms. So negative 18 plus 13 is negative 5. And I still have to include the minus 36. But I stop there because this has a variable and this one doesn't. So they're not like terms. So I stop there. Okay, last one. I'm going to do distribute first. So 4 times negative 8. And then 4, this minus belongs with the 1, times negative 1c. Then I still have to include the minus 7 on the end. So I'm going to do my multiplying first, like my order of operations. Okay. I have to multiply before I add or subtract. So 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. 4 times negative 1c, I'm going to do 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So this is negative 4c. I still have to include minus 7. Okay. Minus 32 and minus 7 are like terms, so I can subtract those. My minus 4c still has to be included. Okay. I'm going to do negative 32 minus 7 is negative 39. So minus 39. And that's it.